Okay, so hello everyone. Hi again. I hope that you enjoyed the discussion, the workshop. So we're getting to the last part of today's workshop where if each group, one person can summarize the main points of your takeout from today. And then same thing for the people online, like a couple minutes summary. And with this group one, do you have someone? Yes, please, so that people online can hear you. And I have this laptop with the camera because that one is not working. So
Sorry, which camera?
this is the camera.
Oh, hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Daniel. I've been bullied into providing our table summary. Just a quick summary of what I've been hearing during the roundtable. So the first one was really about my phone's ringing. Why is that ringing? Was really about opportunities. Now, I'm going to summarize based on also my own experience. But in terms of opportunities, what we've seen in terms of cascading is you need clean electric. If your grid's dirty, you got to clean it up. Ottawa, we're not too bad there. Then you want to go into electrification combined with efficiency. Because if you just do a fuel switch, you're not going to get the cost savings. It's not going to make sense. And you need to evaluate things on a life cycle costing basis. It's got to make financial sense. But we also need to be thinking about things on a longer term scale, rather than the usual, 3 to 5 year payback. In terms of technologies, what we've discovered is, you want to, especially if you're doing retrofit, do your windows and your roofs, or panels if you can, like you did with OCH. Dedicated outdoor air systems more for commercial buildings, so you're moving less air around. Heat recovery, then throw in say heat pumps and some geo-exchange. So technologically, it's pretty straightforward. The challenges, however, which comes with all of these, even though technologically these are things that we have, is money. So we need to tap in better into service contracts that are willing to amortize things on a longer period, and also get access to capital. But combined with that is the fact that construction costs are extremely high right now. And construction is one of the only industries that has not become more efficient over time. Car manufacturing keeps getting more efficient, computer manufacturing, phone manufacturing, all those different technologies. Building furniture is probably more efficient than it used to be. Construction is still not efficient. We need to figure that out. It's not just about energy retrofit, but overall, the affordability is really gone away. We also need to, when it comes to low carbon retrofits, low carbon buildings, we need to de-risk it for owners and developers. These people are, I've got relationships with a lot of these different people. They take on a lot of risk. They have a lot on the line with their buildings, and they are not necessarily in the mood to take on more risk, especially not technological risks, even though it's a geo-exchange, which is tried and true. For them, it's new. So we need to find ways of de-risking, and that might be with outsourcing, like Windmill did, say for the geo-exchange. There may be opportunities as well to de-risk and have someone else take on the risk of envelope performance. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but I think that's one thing to consider. We also need to have a better market, I think, for prefabrication. I think this is also my personal opinion, but the more we can fabricate in a controlled environment instead of customizing everything on site, I think there's an opportunity there. There might be some opportunities with automation and robotics there as well. That's still theoretical, but I think there's opportunities there. And I think the last thing is just to come back is we're in a room here of people who are thinking about this. We're pushing for this. What I'm hoping to do next time, and like I mentioned earlier, didn't succeed, is we need to get the Bowmans of the world, the developers of the world beyond just Windmill, because Windmill is a leader. We need to get its other people in the room and have these conversations and hear what they are finding to be the risks and challenges that they're having, and help them come on board with us on this journey. That's the summary I have. Hope I covered most of it. Thank you very much.
And group number 2.
I'll try to be short and sweet and not repeat, but I didn't even look at the post-its that we had, the virtual post-its, but in terms of from memory, I think for the first bullet, we talked about from the carbon neutral initiatives presented in this session. I wouldn't say just the presentations, the people we've spoken to as a group today. I said, I think the people are what's going to allow us to move forward. I think that's where it is. Okay. Usually it's not a technological problem. It's not a technical issue. It's usually people. Okay. And I think the people here today are a part of the solution. And I think it kind of reflects with what Dan mentioned, is that we need more of those people around the table that are decision makers in the built environment. What potential challenges or downsides do you see with these initiatives? One of the key things that we came up is, I think the built sector and the way construction is done in the built environment, it hasn't changed. Okay, so we need to find ways of moving the yardstick quicker to be able to advance and to change the way things are decided. In terms of, a lot of people look to the federal government, I think, for opportunities of what can you do. I think my belief is the real power is at the municipal level, and we're starting to see, it's the Westminster model. Federal government has certain responsibilities, other ones are provincial, and when you talk about this environment, it's provincial, and then some of the provinces are starting to transfer those powers to municipalities. And I think that's a critical piece, because the municipalities have tremendous power to influence what's happening in their backyards. So I think that's a key piece that we need to look at for change if we really want to move. And it'll take a few of the big ones and some of the medium ones to start moving to get to the tipping point. I think once we get to the tipping point, then because there's a very robust Canadian municipal community that meet up, and I think they can actually share and actually accelerate this. What aspects do you think are missing? Can you suggest improvements or additions to the programs outlined by the speakers? I think the technology is there. I think there was a kind of consensus is every building today that is in net zero, there is a technical solution. It's just finding the mechanism how to get it to occur. I think there are challenges in the way things are done. Access to capital is a significant piece. Can it be capital shared responsibility? I think the ESCO model was brought up quite a bit. We leverage it significantly at the federal government. As much to access capital, but more so to access the expertise and also the shared responsibility. So they're still there for many years afterwards, and their profit is based off the efficiency of their project. That it's a business partnership, and we know business partnership actually generates better results overall than just a simple contract. Are there gaps in knowledge that might be addressed through research? So I talked about in terms of the operational carbon, I think we are already mature and have solutions. I think on the embodied carbon area, I think there are tremendous opportunities in the research field to start looking and how can we get. And the reason why I talk about structural materials, about 90% of the embodied carbon in an office building is in the structural components, steel and concrete. Steel and concrete haven't changed in how many years? Like the general composition and how they go about it. We need some innovation there. And I think there are tremendous opportunities. And I think that's where the universities and departments that are research focused can really work with the Canadian economy to advance that. Not just in terms of the environmental benefit, but I think also being leaders in the world to offer products. And it's always about job growth as well. So those are the 4 bullets. Anything else, Martin? You were there since the beginning, man. Okay.
Hey, for people online, is there anyone who would like to summarize what you discussed in your group?
Hi, yeah, this is Larissa.
Yep.
We were part of group 2 in the afternoon. So some of the things that we thought held promise for achieving carbon neutrality were the large scale audits that the city of Ottawa was talking about that could leverage mass data that already exists in order to create those calibrated energy models and inform the building owners and really give them that information and power to make decisions on how to reduce their energy use. We thought it was pretty interesting because it's at a larger scale and just leveraging data that already exists. And then the other thing we really liked was the thermographic scans at the neighborhood level as well. It's good for public engagement because of the visual aspect. It can make, energy efficiency look a little bit cooler and, just become more mainstream to the public. And then geothermal, the map that was shown by the city of Ottawa, the geothermal open loop potential map, was very interesting, as well as the sewage heat recovery map. These are really good tools to easily take a look and see if your site has potential for these specific energy efficiency measures. And then we also thought there was a lot of potential for distributed energy storage. However, in terms of challenges, we were pretty focused on the challenges of fully electrifying buildings in order to reduce the carbon footprint, because currently utilities and the power grid don't have the capacity to meet that high electrical demand if we fully electrify all of our buildings, even at like larger commercial or institutional buildings. Just for those individual buildings, the amount of capital that needs to be invested to upgrade the hydro station to be able to meet a higher electrical demand is prohibitive right now. So there needs to be some solutions there from the utility side. And then we were also saying some challenges or downsides would be to really look at the unintended consequences of new technologies or lower carbon technologies. So looking at the full life cycle of any given product, such as battery storage or micro nuclear generators and the nuclear waste that comes with that. So just really taking a look at those unintended consequences and looking at the full picture. And then what aspects do we think are missing? From the conversations today, there wasn't really any focus on public transit and achieving carbon neutrality for the public transit industry. But that should be part of the pie, and it should be mentioned. And then we also thought transit emissions to be able to travel to a building are not really considered in the emissions of a building either. So not sure if that's really important here or not, but it is something that's missing. And then another thing we talked about were the energy service contracts and how they've been around for a long time, and they were popular 20 years ago, and now they're gaining more popularity again. So I think there's opportunity to have better marketing around ESCO, so that we can leverage this tool a lot better, or this service a lot better, because it solves the capital cost issues. It can solve green power issues. It leverages borrowing power to implement large scale change. So yeah, it seems like it provides a lot of solutions. And then in terms of research gaps, we were talking about how Tesla was able to grow so quickly and to profit, while also having a greater good impact of, providing a low carbon option for transportation. And we thought something like this could be kind of roadmapped for other industries as well, so that we can provide, a methodology of how to make things greener while also making money. And that way industries will have more guidance on how they can make those big changes and not have to worry about losing money or, you know, it not being a good business case. That's the summary for our group.
Thanks, Larissa. And thanks to everybody who's still online. I just want to say thanks to everybody for coming out today. And again, the purpose behind these events is to build partnerships. So I'm hoping that we're planning a couple of more of these events, zooming out, not looking specifically at decarbonization in Ottawa, but then at a regional and then a national and possibly then international level. So we're hoping we can count on you to continue to these conversations in the future. So again, thanks very, very much for spending your day with us.